What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Tiff, your post-concussion syndrome adventure guide. In this episode, I thought it would be cool if I took you along on a bike ride, but I wanted to incorporate a little bit of my post-concussion content with it as well. I wanted to sort of go over some tips and some steps that I went through or that I did to sort of help me in my recovery process with my concussion. And obviously everyone's concussion isn't the same and everyone's symptoms aren't the same. So this isn't like a script or a cure-all. This is just what sort of helped me. And obviously I'm still in my recovery process. And I have people say, oh wow, how can you ride your bike? And how can you balance and all this kind of stuff? And you know what, it's just it's different for everybody, and I can't ride my bike every single day. There definitely are days where I am just out for the count and I need to rest and recover, just like everybody else. So just because I can ride my bike one day doesn't mean that I can ride it every single day. But when I do feel well enough to do it, I do take advantage of it. As I mentioned in previous videos, cardio is part of my vestibular therapy, getting your heart rate up and really just, getting that blood flow and oxygen, everything like that to the brain. So yeah, if you can get out there and you can exercise and, definitely do it. And it was a long process for me to get to this point, which I will go over. I'm going to just kind of go over just briefly little things that I did to sort of help myself along the way. And, that's really the most important part, is when you realize that you are sort of down and you're holding yourself back. That's when if the light bulb switches and you feel well enough to sort of take control and do these little things. It's not a miracle. It's not going to happen overnight. Just little steps, little things to kind of get yourself there. Progress is definitely a slow process. So anyway, let's hop on the bike, come along with me and enjoy the view, and hopefully some of the tips and things that I did to help my recovery process or help it along anyway, maybe can help one of you out there as well. So hope you enjoy. All right, let's get started on this bike ride here. It's been a while. It's nice out today, but it is going to rain again later on. Okay. Now, last week, Hurricane Ida came through this part of Pennsylvania, which is extremely strange. My area got hit pretty hard. Where I live did not, like my house specifically, but closer to the creek, people's houses got flooded out. So I'm really hoping that today is a little bit easier on those folks. Less people out here. We're just cruising. I want to talk about the recovery process for post-concussion syndrome for myself. Like I said, everybody else, or not everybody else, everybody's journey is going to be different. Not everybody's going to deal with the same thing. So, for a lot of people in the beginning, denial is a big part of it. I know for me, I thought that I was going to be, out of commission for 3 days to like a week at the most. Now here we are 9 months later, and in the beginning it's hard. It really is hard when you're kind of just taken out like that, but you really do need to rest. And it gets old when people keep saying that to you, and just rest and just rest and just rest. And like I mentioned in one of my other videos, it is hard to just sit there and do nothing, and to rest and to not think about it, and your brain is like overthinking at this point, because now it's like, well, what the heck is going on, you know? My brain's not working the way that it usually is, and you want to get up and do something about it. You know, when something's wrong, our natural instinct is to want to fix it. And when you're dealing with something like a brain injury, or a mild one, you can't fix it. There's nothing that you can do. You do need the rest, but you know, there's more to it than just that. And like I said, it's hard to just sit there and do nothing all day. But in the beginning, it is important. Once you've done your fair share of resting, and you've had about enough of that, my injury happened in the winter time, so it made it even harder. And not driving, so that made it even harder, which I'm sure some of you have dealt with. So once you're done resting, or you feel well enough and you can handle it, get yourself outside. You know, going to stores is still difficult, and was extremely difficult in the beginning. Those bright lights and all the overstimulation and the lights and the sounds and the people, and it's a lot. But if you can get out just for, even if it's just like 15-20 minutes, do it. Go for a car ride, do something, go for a walk. Short walks around my block were very helpful. I don't know if this wind is going to be an issue, but so daily walks, things like that. You know, start with 5 minutes, then increase it. I know in the beginning I didn't feel comfortable walking by myself, because I was very just uneasy on even while I was just walking, you know, when the floor or when the ground feels like it's moving on you. It's scary, you know. You don't want to be walking and next thing you know you fall on a sidewalk, and that's embarrassing. Nobody wants to deal with that. Daily walks, get out to a store or something, kind of expose yourself. Exposure therapy is good in moderation. Don't overdo it. Don't make yourself completely sick. But I would definitely say to get outside, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air, and like I said, in small increments. So another thing that I incorporated into my own rehab recovery process was meditation, and I really do believe that it was instrumental in my recovery process. And meditation isn't something that I used to do, and I actually fell off of it a little bit, but it really was helpful when I was at that point where I was ready to help myself, you know. I really wasn't sure if I was like, oh, do I know how to meditate? You don't really need to know how to meditate. I downloaded the Balance app, which is super helpful. There's a bunch of different meditations that you can do on there. There are guided meditations, which is helpful. It really gives you, 10-15 minutes of just solitude and quieting your brain and really focusing, and it helps your brain to focus and work in this different way than it's been. Your brain's all over the place, so to have something to sort of quiet it down a little bit is extremely helpful. And you can even incorporate meditation into your walking, so guided nature meditations, and it's a really good distraction, even if it's only for 10 to 15 minutes a day. You can keep track of your meditations and set your goals, but I did find that to be extremely helpful at a time that I really needed it. So meditation. In addition to meditation, I also started to incorporate some lightweight exercises. Just doing some like dumbbells, and even that, I had to watch bending over, doing things like that. I really wasn't able to work out the way that I am used to. I had to quickly learn to adapt and accept the fact that I wasn't able to do the same types of exercises that I was used to. And I wasn't doing anything crazy before. But something simple as, bent over rows or sit-ups, simple things like that. So you just make adjustments. For the beginning, I did a lot of just body weight ground exercises where I could do everything just from the ground. I didn't have to worry about getting up and down a bunch of times, and that was really helpful. And then once I sort of built up my stamina and tolerance for that, then I started to incorporate some light weights. And when I found it became too easy, I upped it again a little bit. That I incorporated was taking some herbal supplements. For a while I was taking turmeric, vitamin B. I was taking oil of oregano capsules, and I think there was another one. That's right, fish oil pills. And I was taking this combo because actually when I was sick with COVID, I was taking a lot of these supplements as well, and they seemed to, help me out. And, fish oil is good for the brain. Turmeric, a lot of these things are good for your body, your brain, energy, focus, those types of things. When you are dealing with something that you don't know how to fix, you really will try anything to help yourself along. So hopefully these brakes work down this hill. Terrible. So, yeah, supplements, vitamins, drinking a lot of water, helpful, just the usual things you're supposed to do to take care of yourself at a time like this is just helpful. How you doing?
How are you?
Good. So one of the first things that I did in this helping myself journey was to reach out to my therapist. And I hadn't seen or talked to her in probably a year. COVID just sort of put a stop on in-person everything, and there's a state between us, and I was like, I'm not gonna do telehealth. That doesn't seem like real therapy, But I was wrong. And I realized very quickly that I needed to talk to somebody that was removed. It wasn't a friend of mine, that wasn't my family, that wasn't just going to tell me, just rest, you'll be fine, And as you can probably imagine, after going through a wall with your head and passing out in the shower and the bathroom, there's some trauma that's sort of left behind with that. And from doing some trauma work previously, I knew that I really needed to work through that. So we quickly dove right into some EMDR therapy to sort of help process the trauma. I was afraid to take a shower for a really long time. I was just taking baths. I was bathing, but I was taking baths. I wasn't taking showers. We have 2 bathrooms in our house, and I refused to use the shower that the incident happened in, So even though it wasn't something like a car accident or some sort of abuse, trauma was still present. It was still there. It was still very real. And I had PTSD, and it for a really long time and even still now, I really haven't used that shower. I haven't used that shower. I've gotten used to the other shower primarily I don't really feel like there's a need for me to go back in there. I mean, I could, but I was having severe panic attacks, even the thought of walking past it. You know, it was like a little tomb. Yeah, it was definitely traumatizing. So, something hard to deal with. So if you've suffered a brain injury or anything like that, I'm pretty sure some sort of trauma, TBI, traumatic, is surrounding your injury. So I would say one of the key components to helping yourself and helping your mental space is to speak to a professional about it. If you don't have a therapist, seek one out. I do highly suggest EMDR therapy if you're not familiar with that. Definitely look into it. It is very helpful. Eye movement is involved, bilateral stimulation is involved, and it just really works the two hemispheres of your brain in a different way. So it is super beneficial for processing trauma. And I think for me, by my fourth or fifth session, I had significantly brought that fear and those negative thoughts from like a 9 down to like a 2. So, I no longer look at that shower as a coffin. I don't have shortness of breath if I were to step inside of it. In the beginning, it was a very hard time. You're alone. You don't know what's going on. You have this sort of like isolation. The concussion really messes with your emotions. And talking to someone who's removed from the situation and can really help you sort of to process and make you understand that, this isn't your fault. It's not going to be like this forever, can really be beneficial in the long run. So therapy was definitely very, very helpful in this recovery process. A little windy, but as I come to the end of my bike ride here, the last thing, and not the final thing, but the last thing on my list here is vestibular therapy, which I'm currently in right now. Talked about it in another video. It is important to do, and I know that on some of the like Facebook groups that I'm on, some people's doctors don't really like believe them, or they don't really have a good team behind them. Fortunately, I've had a good doctor from the very beginning, who believed me, understood what I was going through, took all the proper precautions and the steps to get my symptoms under control, do some testing. The second doctor, the neuropsychologist, is super nice and super understanding. So family, friends, everyone has been in my corner the whole time, which sort of makes things a little bit easier. But definitely, if you can get yourself to vestibular therapy, give it a try. It's meant to intentionally flare up your symptoms, so you will feel a little bit ill, but just trust the process. It was hard for me to get into it in the beginning because of insurance and all that fun stuff, which I'll talk about that in another video. So those are all the things that sort of helped me in my recovery process. Rest, meditation, herbal supplements, walking, light exercise, talk therapy, EMDR therapy, physical therapy, and a positive mindset. I think that's number one on the list. There's no order to anything else, but number one is believing in yourself and knowing that you can help yourself, allowing yourself to help yourself. Don't hold yourself back. I threw myself a pity party for a really long time, and I was sitting around waiting for things to happen because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know the protocol. There is no protocol, so you sort of have to just trial and error it until you figure out what works for you, what doesn't work, and you'll get there. You know, you just have to trust and believe, and really just have a positive mindset. You know, we are our own worst enemy at times, so no one's going to do it for us. You got to kind of get out there and do it yourself. If you want help, you have to ask for it. You want to make something happen, you got to do it, you know. So that's all I think I have for this video. This was a nice bike ride. I think I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it's nice out here. The breeze is nice. Hopefully this audio is not too choppy. But anyway, if you have any questions, comment down below. Give the video a like, subscribe. That way I know that you like this content, you want more of it. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Hope you have yourselves a good day. And get out there and adventure. See you later. Yeah, don't spin when you have a concussion. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below what you want to see next, or what other topics, what other questions, what you want me to talk about. I do have some things I want to talk about. We were supposed to go tubing. That all got canceled from the hurricane, so I'm really bummed that I don't have a video for that, but I was really looking forward to putting that out there. It is what it is. Gotta stay safe. That river is like 10 times higher than its normal level, so it's definitely not safe to go leisurely tubing around. Again, I hope you liked the video. I hope you enjoy the bike ride today and some of the tips I have on the recovery, my recovery process anyway, with this post-concussion syndrome. If you have any advice for me, I'm open to suggestions as well. Like I said, I am still in the recovery process myself, and just take it one day at a time. That's really all you can do. Don't dwell on yesterday. Don't overwhelm yourself with tomorrow. Just be present, stay in the moment, and everything will be okay. See you next time. Bye.